The World Bank and the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime say the Stolen Assets Recovery Initiative should make it harder for the corrupt to steal public money and easier for the public to get its money back. The world body chiefs are all talking tough.
The United Nations is well placed to provide technical and legal assistance to ensure that looted assets are returned to their rightful owners.
Financial institution needs to be aware that banking secrecy, this is a breakthrough of the convention, banking secrecy is no longer an obstacle to money laundering investigations.
Ensuring that there's no safe haven for the proceeds of corruption.
The World Bank, which is one of the largest sources of financial and technical assistance to developing countries, says a cross-border flow of global proceeds from criminal activities, corruption and tax evasion is estimated between $1 trillion and $1.6 trillion per year. This plan is a warning to especially leaders in Africa, where people like the former Congolese president Mobutu Sese Seko and Nigeria's Sani Abacha stole huge amounts of public money. The diplomats are saying it is possible because considerable amounts of money have already been recovered. After an 18-year saga which ended in January 2004, the Philippines were able to repatriate over $600 million of Ferdinand Marcos's money held in Swiss bank accounts. Between September 2005 and early 2006, Nigeria recovered over $500 million of the Sani Abacha money frozen and forfeited by Swiss authorities. In July 2006, British authorities returned $1.9 million of the alleged illicit gains of Dipre Alamayesiga, governor of the oil-rich Bayelsa state in Nigeria. In May this year, an agreement between the governments of the United States, Switzerland, and Kazakhstan allowed for the repatriation of over $80 million.
Time is crucial. Stolen assets are more likely to be detected during the initial phase, and therefore before they disappear in international money laundromats.
So what's the current magnitude of the problem? 25% of GDP of African states is lost to corruption every year, amounting to $148 billion. Corrupt money associated with bribes received by public officials from developing countries is estimated at $20 billion to $40 billion per year. What could this money do if it was recovered? The World Bank estimates that every $100 million recovered would fund first-line treatment for over 600,000 people with HIV/AIDS for a full year. It could fund full immunization for 4 million children. Or it could fund water connections for 250,000 households. Transparency International has consistently ranked Uganda among the truly corrupt.
It is the poorer who are the worst victims. Not only do they pay out of not having essential services like health and education, but many of them pay with their lives.
Corruption has adverse effects on the delivery of basic social services, and it is of course an obstacle to achieving the Millennium Development Goals. So this is a wake-up call to those who steal and to those who harbor stolen assets. The UN and the World Bank will work with developed countries because foreign banks play a big role in allowing corrupt officials to hide their ill-gotten gains. But this could prove difficult as only 13 of the 54 countries classified by the IMF as offshore financial centers have ratified the UN Convention Against Corruption.
Less than half of the looted assets stay in the country. The bulk is moved overseas. And therefore recipient countries and their financial jurisdiction needs to be confronted with the fact that harboring stolen goods is a crime.
Still, the Assets Recovery Initiative already has some concrete actions in place to build institutional capacity of developing countries, strengthen their prosecuting agencies, and bring laws in compliance with the UN Convention Against Corruption. To strengthen the integrity of financial markets, to monitor the use of recovered assets so that repatriated funds are used for development purposes such as social programs, better education, and infrastructure.